story time while telling you story time while playing a game, a tower. So there's this girl in my school, and like at the beginning of the year we were friends, right? But then it started to get like a little, she was too touchy. She was calling all of us homeless. And at one point, I just got tired of it. So I was keeping to myself, And then I see this girl telling our mutual friend that Dike, she's homeless, she's dirty, she got ashy elbows. So I got tired of it. I went up to her and I was like, girl, I don't know who you're talking this stuff on. And she was like, I'm talking to her. And I was like, oh, but you're not though. And she was like, I am though. And I was like, oh, but you're not. And she was like, what are you gonna do about it? And I said, oh, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do about it. So we started fighting, right? And all my friends were there. We were fighting. And at this point, she's on the floor, right? We're just fighting. I got her on the floor, quick chokehold. Then this girl turns around and starts sitting on my freaking chest. This girl trying to kill me. Oh, okay, you want to do that? Then we can do that. You trying to kill people. So she had a ponytail on. Ugh, I fell. She had a ponytail in her hair. So I just grabbed her hair and wrapped it around. And we were in gym class. And the teachers are so chill. They thought we were play fighting until they realized we weren't. So she wanted to sit on my chest. Oh, okay. I see how it is. So she wanted to sit on my chest, so I grabbed her hair and I wrapped it around, and her head went smack into the gym floor. So, but we didn't even get to fight that much. We fought for maybe possibly 1 minute. Yep, that wasn't enough time. We were going for 10 minutes that we were fighting. So, it gets broken up by the teachers. So we came up with a plan. Well, I came up with a plan because I wanted to still be fighting her. So my friend was like, oh, what do you want me to do? And I was like, oh, I don't care. Just do anything. Anything, right? Anything. So she tells her to do something. I thought she was just going to come up behind me, smack me, and then we started fighting. No. She waited all the way until dismissal time to do this. We were outside. I was waiting for my grandma. And, oh my freaking God. I was waiting for my grandma at the car, and I thought, oh, she didn't do anything because she's scary. This girl comes up behind me and tries to shove me face first into the concrete. So she's running up to me. She's trying, and all my friends are behind her. Her friends. I don't like her friends. But all her friends are behind her. And my grandma hops out the car. My grandma says she don't play about hers. So she hops out the car and she was like, yo, what the hell are y'all doing? And then the girls were like, oh, damn, her grandma came out. So they start running away. And my grandma wants to chase after them with her car. So she's trying to chase after them and everything. And then we go to leave because they're way out of her sight. So she sees a couple teachers who are outside, and they weren't paying attention to anything that happened. And that made my grandma so tight. She was like, oh, my granddaughter almost got her face into the concrete, and you didn't do anything about it. And they were like, oh, ma'am, I'm so sorry. We will take this up with the principal, and we'll try to do our best to pay attention more. And she was like, no, you guys aren't paying attention. You're just talking about what you're going to be doing over the weekend because it's Friday, right? Oh, okay. So she just got so mad. And I was also getting tired of this girl because I bought a Melanie Martinez plushie because that's my favorite singer. This girl has the audacity to take it while we were in technology class, and she has the balls to tell me that it wasn't her. And I was like, quit lying, because I knew it was you. She was like, oh, you don't believe me? That's why you're fake. And I was like, I'm fake. Baby, you're the one who almost just got beat up. And she was like, oh, she didn't beat me up, all this extra stuff. And that was literally like the week before I fought her. This girl. So my grandma called my mom, and my mom was literally fuming. Like, when I tell you fuming, this girl was fuming. And she was so mad. She had to call the principal and everything, and I was talking to the principal. I was like, yeah, we just fought. And he was like, why did you fight her? And I was like, because she was getting on my nerves and she was bullying my friend. And he was like, oh, but you still don't act that way. And I was like, she stole my expensive plushie that was like $50. He was like, still, we could have searched her locker and everything. So this girl the next week has the balls to grab me by my arm and take me outside. It was raining. She had my plushie in her hand. She threw that in the mud. So you know what I did? I threw her in the mud. I just grabbed her hair, grabbed her back, and just straight up shoved her face into the mud. And I was like, oh, look at you. Now you and my plushie are matching. And she got so mad. But you know what? I didn't care, because you're just going to do me like that and think that there's not going to be consequences. Oh, you're so funny. Very, very, very funny. So, and then after we fought, our mutual friend comes up to me and she was like, oh, I didn't like how she was calling me homeless and all of that stuff. So she didn't be friends with her. Okay, I respect your decision. You don't have to not be friends with her just because we fought. But yeah, she was saying all that extra stuff to her. So she was like, no, I don't want to be friends with her. And I was like, okay, that's your decision. And she was like, I'll never be friends with her again. And I was like, okay, why are you telling me this? So she like pinky swore and like swore on her life that she wasn't going to be friends with her anymore. And I was like, okay, good for you. And she was like, this girl was talking stuff about me with her friends, and I wasn't about to tolerate that, because I was like, girl, who are you talking about? So my principal said that if we got into another altercation, that we would both be suspended. And I was fine with her being suspended, but if I'm suspended, then my mama is not only just gonna get mad at the girl for what she did, she's gonna get mad at me. She's gonna take away my phone. That was going through my head right now. So the best thing that I thought that I could do was talk stuff about her back. So yeah, we were talking about her, and our mutual friend kept going on, and she was like, oh yeah, she was talking about my ashy elbows. So we were like roasting her, right? That's what you do when you talk stuff about someone. So we were roasting her because she was like talking stuff about us at lunch and like giving us dirty looks with all her friends. And we were like, yeah, okay, so the best thing that we could do is talk stuff about her back. She was like, oh yeah, she was always making fun of my ashy elbows, and like I told her to stop. And I was like, hold on, I need to say one thing. How are you gonna make fun of somebody's ashy elbows when you literally look like a powdered donut? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And she started laughing, as she should. So she just gave me dirty looks. And this girl don't speak Spanish at all. She ain't got an ounce of Hispanic. She always looks up the meaning of the words, and she don't even spell them right. So, you know what we did? She kept giving us dirty looks and saying stuff loud enough so we could hear it. So every time we passed her, we said "Cicote fishy fishy," and then did the thing. You know the dance that goes, she said "Hola, cómo estás?" And you know when it says "I said bonjour, madame," that part of the dance, we were doing that and passing her, and she was like getting so mad over it. So a month goes by, and we're like still talking stuff about each other because this girl wants to say the absolute most about me, and she's saying it to other people in the class too. Bro, nobody in the class likes her, because you know what this girl did? She called me the N-word. This girl is full on white girl, straight up white girl, and she said the N-word to my face. So we almost got into another fight, but I was like, oh, if I get suspended, my mom is gonna get mad. Yo, one thing's for certain, I'm not gonna tolerate that. So we were just and we were just talking stuff about her more and like saying stuff to her face too. We weren't just like talking stuff like underneath our breaths because you want to be saying stuff about me. Oh, okay, that's what was going through my head. And then she called me the N-word, and so I just started saying stuff like straight up to her face, like not even like giving her the benefit of the doubt. No benefit of the doubt for you. This girl. This girl. Okay, let's try another towel because I finished it. Okay, so my friend, I'm not gonna lie, but her parents, like, they didn't know that she was autistic, so they just diagnosed her with autism. So they had just diagnosed her, blah blah blah. Okay, she tells the girl, and we're not gonna say any names because you know Fat Neck and Precious, and people love to be starting stuff. So we were just like, she didn't know what this girl was saying and everything. And she told her that she was autistic. And she was like, oh, Nevaeh will never like you because you're autistic. Just remember that. And she stopped being friends with her because of that matter. And then she went up to me and she was like, would you still like me if I had autism? And I was like, yeah, why? And she was like, oh, because so-and-so said that you would never like me if I had autism. And I was like, girl, what? You know that I obviously would. My brother is autistic, right? She goes, yeah, I know, but it's like... And I was like, now why would you believe that? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, but just remember this. Don't listen to that girl. Just don't. So we were talking. So I found out what that girl said about my friend. And this is like our other friend. It wasn't like... This is our other friend. It wasn't like the friend that I fought over her. So we go to the counselor's office because it's not okay for you to be saying that. Like, what? Okay, you can say stuff about me, but the second that you start saying the N-word and making fun of people for their disabilities, no. So I went to the counselor's office, got her a referral, and I told my friend, and she was like happy about it. And I was like, oh, okay. So we have to do a joint counselor session, and she tries to play victim. And I was like, girl, don't try to play victim because we all know damn well that you're not a victim. And I literally said that right in front of the counselor. And she was like, oh, there will be no swearing. And I was like, that's not swearing. And she was like, well, it's not nice to be saying those words. And I was like, but she's lying. And she was like, and how do you know that? So my instincts kick in. This was all in gym class. The gym has cameras. Check the security cameras, I said. They checked the security cameras. They found out this girl was lying. Obviously. You ain't just gonna be doing none of that. None of that. So, they found out she was lying. Yeah, they found out she was lying. So, this girl has the nerve to start full out crying. And I was like, oh no, don't be doing none of that now. And the counselor and the principal were there, and I was like, okay, but it's true. We found out she was lying. What do you want me to do? And they were like, just sit in silence. I was like, okay, I'll sit in silence. I'll be silent laughing. And they were like, no, you wouldn't. So, yeah, a couple weeks go by after that happened. Our mutual friend, the girl who I fought her over, she had the nerve. Remember when she said that she was never gonna be friends with her again? She even pinky swore and swore on her life. Okay, I caught her talking to her and like running with her down the hallway. And I'm not gonna lie, do what you want to do. Be friends with her. I don't care if you were friends with her even after the fact that we fought, but don't be lying. That like makes no sense. What sense does that make? Just like, why are you lying? And she was like, oh, but I didn't lie. And I was like, but you did though. So I went up to her and I confronted her and I was like, why are you talking to her? You pinky swore that you wouldn't. And she was like, oh, you can't control who I'm friends with. And I was like, you're right, I can't control who you're friends with. But you know what I can control? Who I'm friends with. And it isn't you. So I got up and I left. This girl starts being friends with her, and my friends come up to me and they're like, oh, she was talking to her. And I was like, okay, I don't really care, that's not my friend, that's not my place. And they were like, you're not mad? And I was like, why should I be mad? She is trifling, and I know that she's trifling. And they were like, oh yeah, that's right, she's trifling. And this girl has a crush on every guy in our class. So the guys found out that they had crushes on them, and they were so mad. One of the guys is actually my friend, and I keep falling. One of the guys are actually my friend, right? What the hell? One of the guys are my friend. So he's my friend, da, 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 and he comes up to me and he was like, did you know that so and so liked me? And I was like, yeah, why? And he was like, and you didn't bother to tell me? I was like, when we were friends, you should have been saying that, and even if we weren't friends, why would I do that? And he was like, oh, well, da da da, aren't you still beefing with her? And I was like, yeah, obviously. And he was like, I don't like her. And I was like, neither do I. And he was like, oh, she looks like the swamp monster. And the way I started rolling on the floor in the middle of science class, bro. So my other friends found out about the beef that I had with her. And one of my other friends is friends with her. Okay, I don't care, cool. And she was like, you know I'm friends with her, right? Are you gonna get mad? And I was like, no, I'm not mad. Why would I care who you're friends with? I just want you to know I'm not friends with her. And she was like, are you trying to control me? And I was like, no, like I said, you can be with whoever you want to be with. This girl's friend, this girl's friend, listen, I keep, I keep falling. This girl's friend, and we used to be friends in 5th grade, but this girl is now my op because all she does is talk stuff, and her mom called me the N-word on FaceTime. So she came up to her. Well, she wasn't friends with her at the moment because she lied to her too. And she was like, oh, hi, Nylani. But the second she saw me, she walked away. And I was like, don't walk away now. And she was ignoring me. So I was in the bathroom, and then she comes in the bathroom. And I'm like, oh, hell no, I gotta go. Because this girl smells like straight boo-boo. And she was like, yeah, go. And I was like, what if I don't? And she was like, then I'm gonna show you what something you don't have, a brain. And and I was like, girl, how are you gonna talk about me not having a brain when I have all A's and B's and you have C's and D's? Oh, riddle me that. And she was like, do you want to get beat up? And I was like, go ahead, because if you even touch me, you're gonna be on the floor. And she was like, no, I wouldn't. Yo, I am almost 12 years old, and I literally weigh 80 pounds. This girl is 11 years old and weighs 55 pounds. And I was like, then I'm gonna pick you up and throw you against that wall. And she was like, no, you won't. And I said, you bet I won't. So I picked her up and I threw her, but she didn't hit the wall. And she was like, haha, I still didn't hit the wall. And I said, do you want me to make you hit the wall? And she was like, no. So I walked out because she still hit her like head on the floor. So I walked out and I was like, yeah, don't play with me. And she was so mad. Yeah, so that was the story time of, oh my gosh, why do I keep falling? I've only ever made it up there, which makes me mad. Anyways, guys, bye. Why am I bald? Anyways, bye.